Now, one of the things I've noticed when talking to you guys is that you still don't have your mental game down. You still tend to get emotional. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes when you talk about the market or when you talk about your position, you use language which is very dramatic and very emotional. You say, like, if this happens, then the market's going to get destroyed, or I'm going to get whacked, or it's going to be a disaster, or if this certain number doesn't come out, we're going to get crushed. You got to be very careful about using language like that, because that language starts to define or shape your frame of mind, right? It's all about the mental game. Again, this is all about the mental game. And language is very important. You have to work and train yourself to eliminate emotion, starting with language. When you're looking at short-term price fluctuations, which are really meaningless, you shouldn't ascribe or attach such emotional intent or referencing to that. This is just a game. You have to think of it like a game, because that's what it is. You're playing against other players. You might not see them, but you are in a game playing against other players. It's like football or soccer or any game. Any good player will tell you that to win the game, you have to focus on the game and execution. You can't focus on the scoreboard. If you're looking at the scoreboard, the other team runs right past you and scores. So if you're looking at market fluctuations and price fluctuations, you are not focused on the game and doing the right thing. And that's what you need to do. A lot of you, I know you're novices in this. It's a beginning experience for you. So don't beat yourself up. Just understand this is a process. You don't decide one day that, hey, I want to be fit, and all of a sudden, boom, your body's fit. You got to go to the gym. You got to work out. Same thing with your mind. You got to train your mind. It takes time. Now, hopefully, I'm going to help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and losses and what I call the tuition that I had to pay to learn this. It took a very long time for me, and I just learned it because I was stubborn and I stuck with it. In my Forex course, for those of you who bought the Forex course, and for those of you who didn't, I put techniques and exercises in there to help you develop the proper mental game. Because again, it's about training. You got to work on it. But the most important thing is, don't beat yourself up. This whole process has to be very self-supportive. When you do something great, hey, pat yourself on the back. When you fuck up, analyze and look at the reason why you screwed up, and you'll see that 10 times out of 10, it was because of your behavior, not because of something the market did, and not because some number wasn't the number that you forecast. It's all because of you. So keep it in mind. Don't get too frustrated. Try not to get emotional. You got to work on taking the emotion out. We want to use other people's emotion against them. We can find their weaknesses. They give us signals about their position. Some guy asked me earlier, isn't averaging a position risky? Well, this whole game of trading is risky. If you take small losses, they add up to big losses. And just because you take a small loss doesn't mean that the next one is going to be a profit. You don't know the future. This is a game of probabilities too. But if I understand not just the market fundamentals using MMT, if I understand market composition, in other words, who's in the market? Do they have a strong hand? Do they have a weak hand? Is their behavior telling me something? I could literally then use their capital to protect my position. So I'm able to utilize averaging as a strategy in a way where I've been able to greatly reduce the risk of that strategy. I understand the question, and it's a good question, but this whole thing's about risk. Life is about risk. You got to take risk. And by the way, the sooner you can develop an attitude like, hey, fuck it, this is just a game, I don't give a shit. Not that you don't really give a shit, you do, but as soon as you can get that attitude and be totally relaxed about outcomes, you'll start making money consistently and more money than you've ever dreamed of. Alright, so just keep that in mind. Alright, see ya.